Oh, you want mine to do that?
No, I can do it through I should be able to do it through that one. So go ahead and, good morning, everyone. I'm Michelle Felicetti.
Picnic tunnel.
33 Murphy's Way.
We're part of the comprehensive plan committee. So Peg's gonna start off and basically just, I'll try to get up on the screen really quick and, questions is why we're here.
Yep.
We want to hear from
Open
you.
up to questions, anybody that wants to come up and has any questions about the survey. I know it's over there, you guys are just looking through it, but help yourselves to come up anytime. And it's only since the holidays, you have good holidays, Ron?
No.
There's nothing yet. I don't see it.
I'll figure it out.
Oh.
So this is the third survey we've done. We do them broken up like that because why is that not going on? We work with Southern Maine Planning. Keep going now, okay. And it's done in chapters. So this is the section that we last were asked to collect data on. Peggy, if you want to go through what the highlights were.
Yeah, we don't have, I don't think we have to go through this, step by step, but,
Just anyone like definitely want to hear what people's questions are.
yeah,
We've been doing this for 2 years.
right. We have been working with Southern Maine Planning and Development Commission pretty extensively. And, they, of course, it's taking so long because, obviously we're not the only town that they work with. And we were kind of late to the game, and it ended up we had to get some funding and so on and so forth. And here we are now. It looks like, what are we, November, Michelle? We're supposed to be having our finished product here.
Well, draft.
Or draft, yes, draft. And
I think that's this November of 26, right?
yes, it is. It feels like it's been going on forever, but it's not really a fault of our own. One of the next steps that we're going to be working on is what's called the future land use map. And basically that's where we start talking about the districts and the zones in town and see where there could be growth areas, and perhaps, because we currently only have 3 zones, really 2, 5-acre zoning and 3-acre. General purpose is 5-acre, residential is 3, but there's also commercial on Route 111, which is on top of a residential district. So we're looking at perhaps maybe adding some village this area down here in Goodwin's Mills. The lot sizes are smaller, and maybe adding some village districts there might be the thing to do, but we're really kind of letting Southern Maine Planning and Development Commission guide us through that process, because basically we're just lay people, and all we can do is go through the data that we've provided from the surveys and they have provided to us, and take suggestions from not only them, but the town as well and what they want. From the surveys, it's pretty obvious. Everybody wants to keep our town small. Nobody wants to see it look like Scarborough or Westbrook, and I think those are the biggest concerns, and nobody wants that. That's a for sure. But with the current legislation that just came down, 134th legislature, I think it was last year, a lot of stuff was voted in
Do you want to
that,
read those elements off?
yeah,
Everyone-
I have two of them here. There's four total, but kind of the omnibus, they call it, is LD 1829. That one is kind of a big deal because the state's basically coming in and saying, this is what you're going to allow. A lot of people, I think, feel like maybe it's an overstep, but it is what it is. It's what we got, and we only can do what the state is telling us we have to do. So for instance, LD 1829, one of the big things is that this is going to allow 3 units per lot.
If we have public service, public.
No,
No, that's
Okay,
4.
read it again and be okay.
It's
I have
4
read
it's
it.
4 units if you have.
it's 4
Because
units.
If you look at
It's 4 units
you
if
look
you
at-
have
the,
public water and public sewer, as it says right here. Public water, public sewer allows 4 units. Without public water and public sewer, you have to allow 3. And the requirement is that 20,000 square feet is what you have, and that's what is required for septic. So as long as you have at least a 20,000 square foot lot, and you can meet those subsurface wastewater requirements, then you are allowed 3 units per lot.
So that's only half an acre, 20,000.
you can't have 3 units on a 20,000 square foot lot.
If you can't meet setbacks, you cannot. But if you
No,
can
you
meet
can't.
setbacks, you can.
You have to read
Okay.
all of the rules.
Okay, yeah, all right.
We were in
John.
contact with the legislators that did this, and we're on
Yep.
committees or giving, so letting us know what these all mean. So you're welcome to join as well.
If you read the law, it says you have to meet the requirements of the
You have the
septic
legal
law. And the
breakdown.
law says, yes, I have it, I've read it.
Okay.
You have to have at least 20,000 square feet to have a septic system. You
Correct,
have a
that's
public.
actually what I just said.
That's, no,
Yeah.
if you said you could have 3 lots on it, you can't.
Yeah.
That's
You
what
don't
that
have
says
one.
right there.
Each unit has to have their own septic system unless you have public.
I
water
understand,
and
I
sewer.
understand what, we don't like it either. It's nothing that we want, we're telling you what the state.
I know you don't like it. My concern is that all I'm hearing is we have to do this, we have to do this, we have
We
to
do.
do this, and we don't.
We do by state law.
Well, and I don't think you're gonna solve that right now. Why don't we continue along?
Is there any discussion about what public water and sewer is?
Go ahead if you
No, you
feel
haven't,
to.
because I've heard some saying here. that
They've
it
actually
said
defined
that
it, but if
septic
you've
tanks
read it,
are public
you're
water.
welcome to come up to the podium. You're welcome to speak that if you
Well,
want
I-
to speak that, Dave. I don't have a dog in the fight.
Okay.
I'm just doing what I'm told to do,
All right.
okay? So,
I think the real issue is that the state is mandating this for all the towns.
Yeah. Not-
And the only reason to do this, I shouldn't say this, I guess, I'll say it anyway, what the heck? But the comprehensive plan, it's a wonderful thing, but the real result is the zoning. Because that's what is gonna have to get changed. And what we have to do, unfortunately, I shouldn't say unfortunately, but whatever, the state, we gotta get this comprehensive plan done. And then probably hire Southern Maine to help us or
with the
redo
zoning
the
ordinance,
zoning for the town.
because
Every
that,
town's doing the same darn thing, and the resources to do this, the professional resources are very limited. And as far as I know, maybe there's other agencies besides Southern Maine. But they're limited, they've lost people, and so we're sort of stuck here. And it's very frustrating for me as a former member of the planning board and other things, to see how long this is taking. And meanwhile, I mean, it's nice to have a comprehensive plan, state requires it, et cetera, but the zoning is the important stuff, because that says what you can do and I can do on my lot. And that's what everybody is concerned about, I think, to some extent. And unfortunately, we're not getting much help if any, are we getting any help from the state? I don't think we're getting a penny.
No, the sad things are, to just do a full plan and do it in a
Right.
proper amount of time, we have found out that typically it would cost $200,000 to have help and to have people who know the legalese for all the stuff that's going on. For once, there is a John Lassie account that's being set up for that. $10,000 will be set aside in 10 years from the next one to do, so we'll have money, because to have lay people do this, it's really difficult, because you get in the weeds with the law, the legislatures, they pass a law, then it's like, the language still changes after they pass the law, so the final language comes out, so it's just a big hot mess. But without comp plan, we can't even get near our ordinances. And that's the way legally it's done, is our in charter and law, it's like your charters for, your comp plans first, and then your ordinances. So that's what we're doing right now. We do our best to reach out to our representatives, but we encourage anyone that has an issue with any of these things. I have written my own reps, write letters to your reps. We can't do anything. We don't follow these, we can't get funding for the state, for the town. We are banned from getting grant. We can't do things like that. And that's also part of why having a comp plan that is up to date and unfortunately approved by the state. This gets submitted to the state.
Yeah.
They tell us that we pass muster. And it can get shot down, and it has not shot. So that's the hard part. We're not, we can do our best and do what we're asked to do here, but there's a whole list of criteria which I don't have on me. We got it so long.
I'll pass this one around. This is like I said, the omnibus. This is the big one. This is the 1829, and you guys are welcome to go home and Google that 1820 LD 1829. But this is a great infographic from SMPDC that kind of outlines LD 1829. It's front and back, but it does answer a lot of questions. I actually put this one up on the Lyman page yesterday. It's just super good information. It kind of gives a synopsis of everything that's in this bill. And we have, up here, it shows you as well that because we're a smaller town and we're town meeting municipality, we have until July 27th to implement these changes.
Of what year?
Next year.
July 27th.
What happens if we don't?
I don't know. I don't want to know.
Well, actually, I've
I've
tried
been doing
to,
this 2 years.
I know.
yeah, I've asked Lindsay that, and basically it's a, what if we don't, there's not gonna be a police person that goes around, and checks these municipalities to make sure that they've done this work. It's just gonna be a matter of somebody comes and wants to put,
Open a couple
something-
lawsuits.
Exactly.
Gotcha.
they come in and they say, well, I'm gonna do this because the state says I can do it. See this? Your zoning ordinance might not say that, but the state law says I can do it. And at that point, I'm sure, I don't speak for anybody, but I would think our select board would just give the directive to the CEO to make sure that they comply with state law, whether or not our ordinance agrees with it or not. Unfortunately, a lot of these new bills are preempting home rule, which,
we even had to change our direction. Like we had 2 come out the first year, we started 2 come out the next year. We're worried of what's coming out this year, which is why we want to finish up before a new law passes that we then have to comply with. That's why the push with Southern Maine Planning, and this all had to do with funding to get help, to get us to a final draft in November for us to hand out packets. And when it comes to vote, you'll have a whole thing, and then we'll hold a special election a few months later. But everyone can be informed. You'll be able to go home with that packet, look at it, read it. But again, everyone should be looking at the surveys and the work that we have done.
What happens if it doesn't pass?
So because you have a lot of people that go to vote, and I've seen this and heard this,
Oh, I
like, well, I didn't know what it was about, so what I know, I'm like, oh my God, we've spent 3 years of hard work, and we've done surveys. The hard part with this surveys, we had a lot of people take it more than once, and that was disheartening. And so we have to trust what data we do have, even though I'm not felt confident in this one. I've asked for a different survey program, so we are more accurate, and people can't do that.
Oh, you mean people are like doing it multiple times?
Yeah.
Oh,
And the raw data shows it,
that's too bad.
so it's unfortunate.
Yeah.
So I'm sorry, go ahead, you had a question?
Do you guys know what the goal is of the state the reason why they're trying to do this? Like, because what doesn't make sense to me is if you have, a small lot with essentially 3 dwellings on it, the value of that is going to be huge. So you're just going to bring in people from out of state to come live here, not necessarily encourage the community to
100%.
have.
Yep. That's our concern too.
So that was like, do you know the state's goal? Is it to bring in?
it's to create housing.
It's to create housing.
It's to create housing.
Affordable house, whatever that means.
I
We're not
just.
sure what that's.
Any housing, I think, there's just not enough housing for anybody.
Yeah,
What's that?
there's a lot. Yeah, and this is again, write your reps. They're the only ones that can undo this hot mess. Yeah, it's unfortunate. We don't want it to
sorry.
come soon. We don't want to have people coming in, well, this person got to do it, 'cause they have the money to threaten to do it. And then this, you set precedents once it starts happening, and that's what I'm
Yeah.
looking at as well. We're doing our best to follow the guidance the best we can. We're attending meetings outside of our normal meetings to be educated on this and hear from lawyers and the representatives that pass these bills. It's still, you leave there, the meeting's going, what? But they do let us reach out when there's questions. They have been helpful, but this has been a lot. It's been a lot.
The unfortunate part is it just feels like an overstep for everybody, I think, especially with them not giving us any money to do this.
It's an unfunded mandate, really.
Yeah, it really is.
It's like,
It really is.
not that that's unusual with the government, but it's not very helpful, especially for a small town.
Mhm.
Anyway,
Have
Yeah.
you guys heard of any other towns that are pushing back on it? I've heard people talk about some towns have just decided not to comply. Obviously, there's repercussions that they haven't
Right.
necessarily exactly specified.
Right. I think most of the pushback comes from the funding part. It's a lot for us towns just like us that, we're just lay people. We're not saying that we know how to make this work. We're just kind of going with Southern Maine Planning and Development Commission and hoping that they can guide us through it and so on and so forth. But to say, no, we're not going to comply with this and, just have our code enforcement officer try to uphold a status quo ordinance that doesn't comply with the state is opening us up to a lot of problems. Yeah. Go ahead, Dave.
A lot of the problems is with this mandate for accessory dwellings, okay? Here's the law, okay? I'm gonna read it for you. There's a whole bunch of stuff about boards they're setting up. We don't care about that. Here's the section about accessory, notwithstanding any provision of the law contrary, except for Title 12, Chapter 423, which states that a lot has to be at least 20,000 square feet if it doesn't have city sewer. Here's the issue. A, 2 dwelling unit, you must allow 2 dwelling units per lot if the lot is not in a designated growth area. Now, I don't know of any designated growth areas in Lyman.
not yet.
So first of all, we have no designated growth areas. The law says 2 dwellings per lot if it's not a designated growth area. 4 dwellings per lot if it's located in a designated growth area. We don't have a designated growth area. And it complies with this other section, which says you can have water and sewer. 4 dwellings per lot is served by public water and sewer. Served by public water and sewer. We don't have public water and sewer, and I know there's been discussion about that.
What about public water and
There's
sewer?
been discussion about public water and sewer. Okay, here's the main state definition of public water and sewer. This is Title 38, Municipalities and Counties. This is the general provisions under definitions. Public sewer. Public sewer means any sewer or drain constructed or laid by a government entity for use of the public and includes both gravity and pressure mains. We have none of those in Lyman. We have no plans to put any of those in Lyman. So the idea of 4 per lot, again, not gonna happen.
Well, anyway, so,
I'm not done.
oh, I knew, oh, I'm surprised.
This is the biggest issue we have now. We have 5-acre zoning and we have 3-acre zoning in Lyman. Well, we also have other zoning. We also have shoreline zone, which is another zone, but, and that one's being completely abused, but that's another story.
Let's not get into that.
Assuming they allow two, that they're required two, which is what now they're requiring two now. In the future, they may go to three. They may say, well, we don't care, you want to have three. If they do, we have 5 acre lots. That means you can have 3 houses on a 5 acre lot. That's a little more than 1.5 acres per lot. Even in the 3 acre lot zones, if you have 3 units, you still got 1 acre per lot. Now, there's been talk about, well, we maybe need to reduce that requirement. What happens if we reduce the requirement from 3 acres to 1 acre, and the state says you can put 3 houses on 1 acre?
I think we're getting ahead of ourselves.
No, I don't think we are, because these discussions have already taken place. Okay,
No, I
this
mean, as
is
far as,
my concern for Lyman, and here's the reason, one of the reasons that I have that concern, okay? Right now, you have a 3 acre lot. You have 1 home on that lot, okay? You're paying taxes on the property and the building. You put another building on the lot, okay? You don't pay taxes on the property again because you've already paid taxes on the property. You're paying taxes on the new building alone, okay? So say you put a $200,000 building on that lot. Okay, now you're gonna collect taxes. The lot, Lyman's gonna collect taxes on that $200,000 home. You know how much those taxes are? $2,400, maybe $2,600. Our mill rate is like 12 or 13. So we're gonna collect $2,400 to $2,600 for each one of those extra houses. What if they have a kid in school? Do you know how much it costs to send a kid to school in Lyman? I do. $18,000 per kid.
okay.
So each house that gets on and pays $2,400 in taxes sends a kid to school for $18,000. This is the thing that I worry about most in Lyman. Our taxes are going up, skyrocketing already. Last year, they went up 10%, which was the highest they've ever gone in Lyman. The highest they've ever gone in the past was 4%. Last year, they went 10. Where are they going this year? I don't know where they're going this year, but I'm concerned. Everybody's concerned about people being able to stay in their houses. Let me tell you, taxes are a big expense.
So to let you know real quick, we are required by law to designate growth area. And that's an LD 2003. You can look that up. So just so you know, this isn't something that we're required to do it. So there will be designated growth areas. That's something we are working on. Everyone is more than welcome to come when Southern Maine Planning comes with big maps and we look at stuff. That's where that's going to be looked at. The other thing as well is as far as school and concerns about that, Newfield had a birth rate of 40 children in 1 year. They don't even have classroom space for that, and they're about to hit pre-K. I'm on the school board, so I can say this, that the school is looking at also issues with every single elementary school. We're one of the largest school districts in the entire state.
What, ours is?
RSU 57, we have 6 towns going to 1 school.
Right, okay.
In the end. Every single elementary school is already maxed out.
In our district.
And our whole district, yes. Lyman, Limerick, Newfield, Shepley, they do not have enough class space. They're already looking at having to potentially look at modulars, which are 1.1 million and don't really work out very well. The district is looking at right now, and they can go on the meetings and look, they are looking at how to potentially, are they gonna look for a bond and combine some elementary schools, break off and put certain grades here, bring 5th graders to junior high. They don't know, they're looking at stats and data and figuring things out. They've been talking about it for years, because this has been a problem that all the schools have maxed out. The music class, I think in Shapley or Newfield, is on a cart. They deal in music class, because there is a music version.
So. Again,
These are things we
I
can't
don't quite understand where the state's coming from. You know, we should bring in more
100%.
people, even though we don't actually have the infrastructure to do it. So like,
Yeah.
I know this is a struggle for all of you
Yeah.
too, because you guys are thinking, yeah, so I know I'm gonna get a bunch of pushback from our residents, because obviously you sent out the survey. And we want this.
sure.
So
it's
you
like-
have here, you
So
have this one
It
here,
is.
would you support changing zone? I have, and again, whether you want to believe the survey or not, you have 65 and 64 want to change zoning. You only have 45 that want to keep it as is. But they're saying, you know, it's really hard to trust one for me, so I just believe they're not there. You know, but then we have lots of comments, but comments don't match up with the data.
Yeah,
It's
they
a hard-
seem to contradict each other. Yeah,
It's
yeah.
Really difficult
And-
for me to follow in talks.
I think another problem is that this legislation that's come out, you know, so let's just 3 lots per unit, 3 units per lot. That is truly a hot mess for so many reasons. I mean, especially our town, but, you know, first of all, it's yes, you know, we have a required frontage for every lot. You know, 375 for a 5-acre lot. So you're never going to get that for 3 units. Obviously, we can't make them, we can't legally, we cannot require them to have more road frontage. So, you know, that goes to our zoning, so on and so forth. But also on the other side of it, even as it's away from our zoning, taking away our zoning away, you know, who can afford to buy, like, as you were saying, if I have 2 kids, if I put 2 other houses on my lot, who can afford to buy that?
That's
Only the people that have a lot of
a lot of
money.
money, so you're gonna bring in other.
So
people from
the
out of
town
state.
gentrifies is what happens. Only the rich people can afford. But the same is true if we don't do something. If we remain as is, if we were status quo, the same is true. Because 5-acre lot, 1 house, even if you have 1 house on a 5-acre lot, it's worth much more than 1 house on a 1-acre lot. And the price goes up and up. Right now, a 5-acre bare lot is $120,000 all day long in the town of Lyman. Somebody could sell that lot. It's ridiculous. I'm not saying that's right. It's definitely not right. But it's the market. And you know, it's going to keep going that way if things don't change, unfortunately.
I totally get that. My other question is like, I'm in the rental market, I have a rental myself. I am concerned that doing this could bring in corporations that will just end up out in the town.
Yeah.
Like, and this is like nationwide, this isn't just an issue here, like, this is
Yeah.
a problem pretty much everywhere. Opening up to build more houses just kind of opens up.
100%.
More town.
I mean,
Just
there was
recently.
just recently a law passed federally to
Mhm.
prevent corporations from, or investors from buying
From buying.
homes
Yeah.
and stuff. So I
Right.
haven't read that one, that just happened, I think, last week.
Yeah. Then the
It
states
has to
will
be
follow
read.
that.
I'll have to look at it because there's it sounds crazy, rich people always find a workaround, there's always.
They do. I
they're gonna
100%
own
agree.
it themselves, but it'll be owned under an umbrella that owns.
100%, 100%. And there is currently legislation on the table that has not been passed that is going to require, first of all, a list of rentals. So every town's going to have to maintain a list of rentals. And they are going to they're going to add to fair housing a discrimination for Section 8.
What?
A discrimination
What is
for
that?
Section 8.
You can't.
So you cannot ask a tenant how they are going to fund their rent. If it's Section 8, you have to take them.
That's.
And if you don't, it's
Yeah,
discrimination.
these are.
They've added to the Fair Housing Authority.
We've been learning more and hearing those, because we are, so we get
Mhm.
first.
Again, just another overstep from our state. We're not, I mean, all of this stuff is an overreach, 100%.
Again, there's a.
But
Well, I think
there's,
we ought to get through this because again, where we're trying to go is the zoning.
Right.
Because, I mean, the comprehensive plan is wonderful, but the zoning is what's going to affect your lot, my lot, and
exactly,
everybody else's lot. So we
100%.
gotta get the zoning done, and we need some help with that.
And
Yeah.
I
Really
wish
do.
I wish I had it here, because it was really neat. They came with maps. It was fascinating to look.
Yeah.
They put a dot for every single house in Lyman. And you could see the clusters. And it was fascinating
Mhm.
to look at it all and how we're all laid out in clusters in certain spots. You know, and there's areas that absolutely don't follow any zoning whatsoever, like in the book. There's 1/4 acre, 1/2 acre, 1 acre, 1 1/4. There's the.
That's all shoreline.
Yeah, but the shoreline, no, on Kennebunk.
Oh, so they're pre-existing,
And
grandfathered.
there's.
I'm sorry. Pre-existing, you can't say grandfather anymore, pre-existing.
Yeah, your grandfather, and there's small, like little, I wouldn't call them subdivisions, but you know, the houses are on like a half acre lot, like off the
Yeah.
boards new, so those have been there forever. And so there are areas that maybe a growth area could be considered, because it wouldn't be that impactful for town, because it's already there. So it is near the school, and you know, but a lot of towns, and what we've learned to, does they more than one village area. And that's where the growth areas could be, where areas where maybe sidewalks could be. Goodwin Mills is very tiny and already very clustered. That could be an area that's considered, as long as we're designated a, you know, growth area, we can pass the test for the state to approve our plan.
Okay, so can you designate growth areas in areas that are already clustered?
That's kind of what we're looking at. So that's, I mean, this is where you want to come and look at the map.
Yeah, that's where
You know,
we're,
that's
yes.
doing these things, because,
Right.
you know, when you think how to do with village area that are, development areas in the middle of the boom, and they can worry about EMS get into it and the roads and the town will maintain those big roads. Those are things that are not sensical and tax wise are not smart.
Mhm.
So we are looking at the most fiscally responsible way of doing it. Okay. And we're not,
So what you're saying that the state is mandating that we need to have designated growth areas?
yes, LD 2003,
Could you show me, give me the
LD
Paragraph.
2003.
LD 2003 and what paragraph?
I don't know the paragraph, but it's LD 2003.
What else do we want to talk
Because
about?
I've looked and I haven't been able to find it, but it doesn't mean it's not there.
Correct. No, LD 2003 requires us to designate growth areas.
What else do we want to cover here?
See,
I mean,
it's not-
I don't know, I'm just, I mean, again, I know I've got a bad position.
Jumping in.
I'm John, what's it? Anyway, I'm not prejudiced, I'm never prejudiced, of course, about anything, but I would just say we wanna, you know, we've gotta do this comprehensive plan, we gotta get this darn thing done. And then we gotta get onto the zones, the zoning, that's what's important, my opinion. So
Yep.
That's just
You
my-
made all the good arguments why we should not change the acreage for our lots. I mean, you've all made the good arguments. We should
Yeah, but
do
the
that.
trouble is, I do think we need an outside agency just to take a look at our zoning, because we only have the, I mean.
You already have one, don't you?
We are.
Well, we're working on it.
And I think that's a good idea.
Yeah,
Well,
because
with
we,
the last meetings we had, we asked them to bring us data and facts regarding lot sizes in towns. That was our last ask of them when they were here last month.
yeah, I think it was last month.
The last meeting we had with them, our ask us of the main planning is to show us why larger lot sizes help or harm a town. We've asked for specific data on that.
Yeah.
That's coming to us. Whether it's this meeting on the. What's our next
It's,
meeting? The fifth?
Yeah, I
Yeah.
guess the
So-
question of whether it helps or harms is an issue because one person's help would be another.
Well, no, we're
person's
asking
harm.
for factual data.
yeah,
From, we're not going, what do you think? We're asking for literal data, and we asked for that, we said we want facts, data, numbers, we want paper, so it's yay or nay, we want to see it on paper. We've asked for that, because we want that to go out in our next survey. So these are things that we've asked for tour, because you know, everyone's, I'm skeptical, you know, so I want to know,
so,
because I'm about facts and data, that's what it's all about to me.
Somebody-
So, you know, if I'm wrong and they say, you know, this is what happened, then I want to hear that. If I'm right, then yippee skippy. So, but I think that I can't ignore facts and data, and that's what I want. And that's what I've been striving through this whole process to get the facts and data at every turn from what anyone's asking. And, you know, the biggest thing is I am so glad you all turned out. Thank you. I was so
Thanks for posting
disappointed
to
Thursday.
Facebook.
Yeah.
I was so bummed on Thursday when no one showed. I'm like, because I think we've only had in 2 years 3 people show, maybe 4. So this is great. I thank you. And again, we want to hear your comments, concerns. Always email us. I hope you're watching our meetings. I always just, again, if you don't know how to write a letter to a rep, I'll help you. I'll give you who you're supposed to email.
you and AI.
Yeah. Those are the people that need to hear from us down here.
I got a question.
Yeah.
Well, first of all, you want expansion, you want housing, you want this, you want that, or the state does.
Yes.
I don't think the state can run itself. That's my personal opinion. I was born and raised in this state and I was glad to leave. But unfortunately, I ended up back here because my dad, I had to take care of him, he's passed. And I'm here. I live in this town now. But how are you gonna expand when you can't even get through the town half the time? You got 35 shut down. it takes you another 15, 20 minutes just to go around. You have to have bypass roads for certain times in a situation like this. And if people don't know the area, and then you got your farms and everything, the only place you have room for growth right now is 111. You know, that's your, what do they call that?
Commercial.
Commercial zone.
That's commercial
And
residential.
there's plenty of
And
land.
that's not all of 111 either, as a current zoning is. It's like.
Yeah, and honestly, my opinion, how I see it, I have no problem with anything going on 111.
Yeah, that should probably be one of the biggest things, because the whole thing isn't the commercial zone. It should be from one end of the line. to the other.
Part of it.
Some things we don't have control over, and it's listed on the website as well as on the state, is certain roads are state, and we can't like, well, it was actually horrible. The state never told anyone to like what the week it happened, that the bridge was shutting down. They
Yeah.
alerted no towns.
Yeah.
It was just like, boom, it happened, and then, oh, by the way,
For a year.
even like,
for a
people
year.
probably don't know that they were supposed to start this fall. Day Road and Kitty Pond Road and 111, that was supposed to start this fall. The bid went out in October and it was awarded. Supposed to start then if they had time. They didn't. They're gonna start in the spring. That's gonna be a hot mess.
What are they gonna do?
They're putting in lights, like at
That's been
Jackson's.
talked about for a while.
Yeah, they're gonna be putting turn lane and everything. So it's gonna be big. It's all been talked about for 2 or 3 years. It's supposed to be done a few years ago. Unfortunately, that's gonna be starting when the bridge is still shut down. So that's gonna make, and I commute to Portland, so trust me, the extra traffic coming my way, my normal 40-minute commute is turning into an hour and 15 on some days. So I'm not thrilled with it either. I wish they would have spaced better, so you're not gonna have the bridge shut down and that going on at the same time, but that's the state, we have no control. And
Now,
they're not alerting the town.
I live down there on Old North Berwick Road, not the intersection I live up Sonny's store there, but the one down the street. Every time I go down there, I got somebody running up in front of me and not stopping at that
Yeah.
four-way. All the time,
By Kiwi, you mean?
yes,
Yeah.
and it's crazy. Now, you had a big old sign out there that said changes coming, and all of a sudden the signs disappeared and nothing changed.
That's the state, that would have nothing to do with the town. That's the
That is a
unfortunate
state
part.
road there.
Yeah, they take care of that stuff.
Okay.
Or a different
No, I was
town,
just
but
wondering
it's
what's
not us.
going on.
Our town doesn't have any, we have a sign, but I don't know.
So,
No, we have a speed monitor thingy.
do we?
We
I didn't
do,
know that.
but I think there's something wrong with the software. That was, the state gave it to the
Something wrong with
town.
my
Something wrong
software.
with the software and- So anyways, I mean, this is the survey of, we had 194 people respond, I think.
Out of how many voters?
Oh,
3,000.
3,000 something.
Yeah.
So
Anyway,
the like prioritizing people, and then it's a concern also is senior services. We have no healthcare, we have no senior housing, we have people that are having a hard time aging in place. That is true.
Yeah, I think
Um,
that's another problem is that the people we have a lot.
Yeah.
That's one of the things that the surveys showed
Yeah.
us.
You got
Was
one
that
thing, your house on
We have a
every town.
lot of seniors in town and over the next 10 years, we're supposed to have, Like,
You
a
got
lot.
hit senior.
yeah,
10 years.
I think me too. And we're supposed to have a lot more, so.
Well, I just hope this committee gets done before I croak.
Yeah.
Like, Dawn, we're never gonna get your comp plan then.
Have to be.
So, I mean, beyond, then you have the survey, you have the comp plan that we've started down, is there any other? I don't have the other 2 surveys with me, my apologies, they might be out there on the shelf. I don't know if they're gonna have those out there or not, they are online and available, like, emailed or a copy printed for you.
Yeah.
So the next section we're working on, the next thing we're working on is. Oh, what are we working, is it the?
Map,
Okay, so we're finishing up all this stuff, like what happens is some of the planning council, they talk to us, and right now we're doing strengths and weaknesses of the towns, that's what we're working on right now. And they, after we have a meeting with them, they send us the draft of what we talked about during the meeting. So we just had that sent to us, and we all went through it to say if we found anything different or anything else we want to add, or that we've heard from the public. Certain things that were like an oxymoron is you have people that, it was funny, because the strength of the town was low taxes. Weakness of the town was low taxes. And it's a conundrum, because then you have people that want services and want sidewalks, but they want to keep tax low.
Right.
So it was a lot of, like, So we asked them to make footnotes of why it's still a strength and why it's a weakness and why it can be both. So these are things we wanted clarification as well, as this plan goes forward. So it's not like, well, they're saying it's strength. We want them to tell us why. So these are things we go through. So that final form of those chapters will be done. This coming month.
Good.
I'm confused. Where the hell do you want sidewalks at? There ain't no.
People are asking for sidewalks.
Yeah.
We've had, every single survey we've been asked for sidewalks on 35.
Wait,
35.
We don't own 35, we can't put sidewalks on there.
They want them on 35 and coming around here. They've been.
And
every
South
single
Waterboro Road,
survey
they
done,
asked.
and those
Just
one of the
surveys.
as an aside, every time a subdivision has been improved in Lyman, and the subdivision plan says you may be required to have sidewalks. I don't think anybody has ever been required to have sidewalks.
Not so fast,
Oh,
not so
you
fast.
got one now?
Well, Murphy's Way, which I live on, it's right down here. It's a one block street with 10 houses on it. Originally, they had a quote sidewalk, which was a painted stripe along one side. So the road in theory was a little wider to make a sidewalk. Now, of course, that striping is worn off but people can walk there because it's a one block street and we don't get much, occasionally get a truck going through to turn around at the cul-de-sac, but
It's, okay,
not 35 though. You'll.
Pretty much everyone is read all the surveys and then ones that have like the other comments, stuff like that. I'm not kidding you, the stuff we've been asked.
I'm
Yeah.
very curious.
Yeah.
It's interesting though, because the strength, well, we have an older town, right? So people here are a little bit older, but in that sense, they want to bring in a younger crowd, and in doing that, the taxes would have to go up because you're gonna have to fund the school, you're gonna have to put in.
If you look at the data, in fact, though,
Infrastructure, right?
interesting too, is a lot of kids, and I speak because I'm related to like a posse of them, there are like 24 to 36 are choosing not to have children.
Yeah, we're in that.
That is the new thing, that not new thing, but that seems to be a very large trend. I can tell you another thing too, because my son goes to Lyman Elementary. You can say kids is an issue, there's more grandparents raising their grandkids right now that go to that school than you would even shake a stick at.
Where's that?
Because people are losing their kids for what, drug addiction or whatever else. Grandparents are taking their kids and families are moving in together and bringing kids into town, whether or not they're from here because they have no housing. The school is going up no matter what because of these reasons, because grandparents are raising their grandkids.
Yeah.
People are moving in together now because they have no choice.
And we're not gonna bring kids in because they can't afford housing.
You,
Right.
Simple.
you could, with ADUs, auxiliary dwelling units, that could add some density. That's
Yeah.
another way to do it.
Oh, guaranteed it will.
So, and that'll bring in
And
maybe,
and like I said before, it not only does it add density, but it doesn't increase the tax by much. So
Good
each
point.
ADU is minimal.
I mean, the good thing about ADU is you're not talking a whole new road going in. It's on a
Well,
property
that's
that
true.
already exists, that's already being serviced by
That's true.
this current infrastructure. So.
But it is a problem for
Yes.
whether you're not, I mean, I can speak to this personally. I currently am making an ADU for my mother-in-law. My mother-in-law is elderly. I want to have her close to my house, so on and so forth. It's, I
hey, this- you're talking about
literally,
me again.
I mean, we're
You
pushing
talk about it.
$110,000 and it's not even finished yet.
Jeez.
So it's not an option for a lot of people. It really isn't. But also the flip side of that coin, just for me, if I was to put a for sale sign at the end of my driveway today, I could not repurchase my home. I would not qualify. So people that are putting these ADUs on there, they're accepting that as a consequence because, I'm sure
You mean what? Would you go through that again just for a second?
if you put an ADU on your property.
Yeah,
And you're gonna sell it, there's not a lot of people that are gonna be able to buy your home.
oh, I see, because the value's gone up. so
The
much.
value's gone up so much, so, and people aren't going to reduce the cost of their home just to get out of their home because there's an ADU
But
on it.
that's a double-edged sword also.
Yeah.
100%.
Your house, I'm looking at that other property as income property. Now, I'll probably pay half of the mortgage with the income from that property.
It 100%
So
is
that's
double
where you
edged.
have to look.
Then you're
But-
talking a total certain status can only move to this town.
right,
I mean,
exactly.
there was a
exactly.
study released as well that showed that the average cost for an EDU is about $300,000. So it's still not affordable, so
Where?
where the state keeps getting like affordable, I don't even understand.
Where is that?
There was an article that came out and had data and facts
But it was
showing
from where?
here.
I mean, I know a couple of ADUs that have been built already, and they're not anywhere near 300,000.
They did down here in Southern Maine, and they were showing 300,000.
A lot of.
I think it depends on the
asked-
size.
I asked, like, well, we
Oh,
really need
putting
to
it-
build at some point, and in that. The build price of what we wanted was way astronomical, and
Uh-huh.
then,
What 1,500 square
Well-
foot, single story house was like 400 and something thousand with
Yep.
that property.
Yeah.
just
100.
slab,
So it's we got that.
slab, basic
Wow.
house, 1,200 square feet,
Yep,
$400,000.
100.
And I was just like, okay, we're moving, we're
Right.
finding the house that's already built.
Yeah, I mean,
I could never buy even my house now. I could never turn around and buy my house right now.
I
For
could
what-
not,
For within that 15 years, I could never afford the house I live
no way.
in.
And it's not, I mean, there's kids, I have clients that have been looking in Lyman for year and a half, year. And, you know, I mean, kids, yeah, I say kids, they're kids because I'm older, but you know, the younger generation that's just getting married and they want to start a family, whatever, you know, really the first thing I say to them is you have to look out towards Limerick, Cornish, those areas. And they're extending their drive to work, their commute to work. And they have to just submit and say, okay, if I want a house, I'm going to have to be an hour plus going to work every day. So it adds 2 hours to my day every day, you know, and yeah, they can get qualified, but they can't get qualified for Lyman.
Right.
You know, so it kind of is like, it rolls into this big thing where it's like the death of the American dream kind of thing. You know what I mean? Like you just said, we're not going to have kids because, you know, hey, who the hell can afford that? So it's just really, it sucks all the way around for everybody.
Yeah, at least we're cheaper than Kennybunk.
I actually, I said this in quite a while back, about a year and a half ago. I had a client that she worked as a, what do you call it, dispatcher for the town of Kennybunk Fire and Rescue. And I'm sorry, not fire, police department. She was dispatcher there. And she bought a piece of land in Lyman. Her father helped her buy this piece of land. She's going to build a house on it. And when she moves into her home here in Lyman, she will officially be the last person in the town of Kennybunk Police Department that actually lives in Kennybunk.
Wow.
Not one person in the entire police department could afford to live in that town.
Our EMS workers can't.
Yeah,
They don't. They're-
Yeah.
they can't afford it. That's a big concern.
Yeah.
Wow, what an encouraging thought.
I know. We're gonna leave on that note, that we can't leave on that note. We have to leave on a good note.
Because, you know, my son's very blessed because he'll have what we have. That's the only way he's ever gonna live in this town.
Well, I mean, the main thing though is to get through this comprehensive plan so that we can get on to the zoning. I don't mean we.
Yeah.
I won't be around by then, but anyway, in the future, the zoning can be revised. And I do think the zoning needs to be revised. We only have the 3 zones. We need a comprehensive look at it. And there's going to be a lot of questions, but that's where people are going to get very interested because they'll look at their lot, their area, and see what the zoning, how it affects them.
Understand, on some towns have 14 zones.
We made it so hard to make a zoning change in
14,
line.
7. We only have 3.
I don't think either one of us are gonna live to see that.
Well, I hope you're wrong there, but, I mean, the zoning needs to be changed really because, the zoning, you know, the planning board can do some things, other people can do some things, but we're just tweaking trying to fix little errors where.
The
it needs to
planning
have
board
a
can't
overall-
change the zoning.
I know, but
It should be able to, but it can't.
I know, but you know, it's gotta go.
Actually, they can,
It
but
just takes, we need an outside look, I think, for
Yes, we do.
but we gotta get through the doggone
100%.
comprehensive plan first and then get on to the zoning. So that's the whole
So
deal.
the whole point of the comprehensive plan at the end is this, what the whole town, again, understanding you have to accept certain things, you may or may not like accepting. Is how we want to see the town grow. It's going to grow whether we want it to or not, but how direction we're gonna go. And to keep the rural character as much as we can, the open spaces, the trails, but make it affordable for those that are still here. And hope some have our kids. You know, I find it cool that my husband and I, when Bass be sick now, my son will go there all as well. So, it's, you know, for me, that's the heritage part of it. So, you know, like I said, we'd love to see people at meetings, especially when Southern Maine Planning comes, because you can really pick their brain on those questions.
The 5th is the next
And it's the
meeting.
next one they're coming for, because we have them until June. June is the next, is where we have like the budget ends, so we have a certain amount of work they're doing with us till June. And the budget is approved for that. We have asked for monies to finish up the comp plan, so anyone watching, please vote yes on it. It's $14,000. To finish up the comp plan, and that includes the future land use map, this big one that we're gonna come in and put post-its on and look at these things for potential zoning for the town.
And-
That's a big growth area.
Yes.
That comes
please.
after June. We want people here on that map.
Absolutely.
We don't want.
100%.
Dave, Kim and Tom couldn't make it, but we don't want it just to be us looking at this.
No.
Decision. We're listening to what we see on the surveys and what we're hearing from people, but everyone should be here with what they want to see.
And I encourage you too, if you guys are gonna come on that February 5th meeting, to not only ask at the meeting, but do your own research before you come. I mean, it's a very quick work to just look up LD 1829 and LD 2003. Those are the ones that you're gonna see. This is required. We have to allow 3 units per lot. It'll tell you, no doubt, right here on whether you Google it or ask SMPDC, doesn't matter. But come with that information or questions and just figure it out for yourselves. Go ahead.
What I hear you say, you're saying that anybody that owns a 5-acre lot, they have to allow somebody to put a house on that lot?
No, they can decide to put 3 lots on their,
All right.
3 homes on their own lot, 3 units on their own lot. And I'll just read it for good measure. I'll read it to you from here. Under LD 1829, effective September 2025, and the previous LD 2003, all municipalities in Maine must allow at least 3 dwelling units per lot in areas zoned for residential use, even without public water and sewer. While 3 4 units are required, projects must still comply with the state septic, subsurface wastewater, and local dimensional rules, which basically means the setbacks. Our zoning ordinance requires the frontage and the setbacks requirements. So if you had a 20,000 acre lot, that's what this is saying. If you did, 20,000 isn't a lot. Yeah, you could meet subsurface, but you could not meet the road frontage requirements or the setback requirements. So of course you could not put 3 units on that lot. So
That's not true. If it's an
just figure
existing
that
lot, it's
out.
grandfathered.
You guys can read it and so on and so forth, and come to that meeting on the 5th and ask SMPDC yourselves
You were just reading, where were you reading from?
from Google.
Was it the actual law or was it somebody's telling what the law says? Because I read the actual law.
It's both. It actually cites both. It's LD
Well, no, it might
1829
say
and
both, but is it
2003.
quoting? I just quoted it right out of it. 2 dwelling units per lot. If
So,
it's not in the
okay, I'm just saying,
designated-
just do your own research. Do your own research and come on the 5th and ask SMPDC.
Right, and
That's
it's,
it.
you know, it's like, again, the hard part too is 30 years in legal industry, and also the interpretation of a lawyer. It could be different than what,
Right.
it's so, we're listening to what they're telling us the lawyer to say. It
Well, I
might
guess
not
the
be
bottom, I guess the bottom line is talk to your state reps and
Yeah.
state senator and get both of those overturned.
agreed.
Yes,
You know, if anyone.
absolutely.
Would love to ask them to come to the
100%.
meeting so they can hear these things, I would love to see them here.
Yes.
It's like Birmingham period 0.
If you could have, when you come to a meeting, to talk to us about this, that would be great. I would, if you could hear it start with this put on a community. That the burden, even a mandated, unfunded mandate with the burden it's putting on a small town. They need to do something about that. It's ridiculous, because we have to do charter. That itself is, you have to hire a lawyer to do that. You have to have a lawyer that does all that stuff. So you're talking about $20,000-$30,000 with that. Comp plan is $200,000. That's not even a full comp plan, you're probably 300,000 for a full one that someone's doing, the whole entire thing, constantly doing surveys and outreach and all that stuff. They're doing these meetings, not, it's not lay people, it's people that understand the laws. And then you have ordinances that our ordinances are so crazy, like 3 conflict each other. So you need now professional eyes and lawyers to make sure you're following the laws, which could be another $100,000. But we're required by law to do these things, and it drives me bonkers that our town has to fund that kind of money when we're required. That's a pet peeve of mine.
Yeah, our zoning ordinance is a hot mess. It's like literally cites pages that aren't even there.
Yeah.
Sections that aren't even there. It's a mess. It's a real mess. But we did start that process a couple of years ago of redoing the zoning ordinance, and it's so overwhelming. The comp plan really does need to be done first, because it's not like, 5 lay people can just say, oh, you get a zone, you get a zone, you get a zone. It's just not, we have to do it the right way and make sure it's done right. So that's why we ultimately kind of put ordinance review on the back burner and said, let's go over to comprehensive plan, get that done, find out what the town wants, and go from there.
If this is your first time coming to this meeting or seeing just survey 3, I encourage everyone to look at survey 1, 2, 3, watch our amazing, fascinating. Because this is our only opportunity before that final draft is done to make changes or give more input to them in the chapters we've done already that are considered done. We want to get it right. We want to get people's voices and thoughts and concerns in there to them. So if there's something we need to redo or have them look at or think about, the other chapters we've already done, which concerns sometimes it's like areas of where we live that it's like some of them aren't super excited, the age bracket of who lives here. The lay of our land, like we have aquifers, we have a lot of aquifers in Lyman, of course. We're poor for farming soil. These are all things we've learned from the other chapters we've done. I encourage everyone to look at them again and read them and know what we've figured out in the past 2 years and heard about. And again, we've always asked them for facts and data to back up things we're telling us.
Don't allow any more damn quarries in this town.
We have no control over that. We do have someone on Zoom. I see Bert. How you doing, Bert? If you have any questions,
Hi,
let me know.
Hello, I'm just taking it all in. No, thank you so much for all you do.
Of course.
I see some,
Stuff doesn't end up in front of you on the ZBA.
oh, gee whiz, I hope not. Yeah, this is concerning stuff because, I've lived in Lyman for 20 years now, but before that, I came from Fairfield County, Connecticut, and you see where some of these things end up when the septic systems start to fail. The state DEP will be right there mandating sewer plants, and then you talk about people having to move. They assess it by foot of frontage. And you may have to, the people that move here for the lower cost now may have to move away for the higher cost when they have to pay for a sewer plant through solid ledge.
Wow.
These things happen. It's the unintended consequences.
Yeah, that's a mess. Yeah, we don't want that for sure.
100%.
Yep.
So,
Well, thank you, Bert.
for thoughts for anything you've seen in the survey or anything you've heard?
No.
Hey, you got any more of them?
I don't have any. Do you have any?
I'll check the best of you.
We will be doing another survey. We're trying not to survey out people too, and again, we're asking for a better survey program, so it does just let one vote per IP that respond, so we're not getting the 30 from one person. Type of thing. So hopefully it'll be more, again, people that don't take them in person to the survey. It's the only way for us to know what people want. 194, I wouldn't really consider a waste of this town. But we have a lot of people in town and that small number. I mean, I'm hoping for the silver in full, but everything's not just like opposite on that. Yeah, more than anything else, it's just encouraging people. We do offer Zoom to attend if you don't want to come out on the 5th. So you can hear and ask questions. we have Zoom available every meeting we have, we just haven't had no one hop on. So do feel free to attend by Zoom if you want to hear it and ask your questions that way. We're doing our best to make sure everyone can participate, respond, and be a part of that.
That's it.
Thank you.
All right, guys, thanks for coming.
Thank you all. Have a good one.
You too, Bert. Take care.